All right. Any other questions? I'll wait 2 more minutes and I'll start.
In the 2 minutes, can you please brief the discussion part so that I we can also pick up and follow it accordingly. Perhaps in the future, in case we come up with this, so we'll have some answer available.
Okay. So, which question? Or
Perhaps you were comparing the batch process and pagination here,
yeah.
to
Okay.
what I
So
could
basically,
understand.
yeah, pagination generally we will try to use it for your get methods. A simple, straightforward answer. Okay. So whenever you will have a collection of records, okay, and the app is trying to use it like display it like 10 records or 20 records at a time. So that is what we call it as offset. Okay. So in that scenario, we will try to fetch the external system by 10 records or 20 records at a time. Okay. So, but that particular external system needs to be capable of delivering that. Okay. So you need to understand that. So if you are directly trying to, implement that thing, so it doesn't, really a use case. But your external system needs to, deliver that way also. So that pagination needs to uh, someone now they okay. So your external system is capable of delivering your records by page or set of records in an offset mode. Then only you can achieve the pagination. Okay, so that is the one thing that is a prerequisite. Okay, coming to your batch processing, whenever you are inserting the data to the external system, okay, so you will go with a batch processing where you can have asynchronous mode of inserting the data, and you will have an aggregation concept where you can push out a collection of records at one go. Okay. Here also, if you want to, insert 10 records or 20 records at one time back to your external system, that external system needs to have that particular capability. Okay. So let us say you're taking a Salesforce that will have the batch mode. Okay. If you are taking a database connector, so it will have a bulk mode. Okay. These kind of things needs to be there if you are using your aggregator and you are trying to insert the data as a collection. Okay. Can you guys go on mute, please? Boomi, someone. Okay. See, you just need to understand. Hey, if I'm saying pagination, my external system is actually giving the records as page by page, or like 10 records at a time, and after that the next 10 to 20 records or something like that. So that particular external system needs to be have that particular capability. Okay. And we are trying to send it something like page is equal to 1 and offset is equal to 10. So which means that 10 records I need it, and I need the first set. Okay. So if I need it the third page, okay, so I will try to send page number is equal to 3 and offset is equal to 10, something like that. We will try to implement it. Okay. So these are for get method space. Okay. Not for post the pagination. Okay. Coming to your other thing. So the batch processing is dedicated for your inserting the data most of the time. Okay, so it is not like getting it, but get also we can write it, but ultimately that particular scenario will never see, because the get method. So if you are trying to get some data and you are posting it to some file and you are putting it to some SFTP server, then only this particular scenario will come. Okay, but it is very high level, but try to understand a thin line. Pagination, get batch processing, post method. Okay. And if you want to relate a collection of records, external systems needs to have that particular capability. Then only we can utilize a full leverage of these particular concepts. Okay. All right. I believe let us start the discussion. Okay, so what we are actually doing here? Okay, so coming to our project, okay, you can turn on your mics and have a discussion. Okay, so it's not like I'm just talking or I'm just explaining something. So I just need your inputs so that I can understand what's your understanding level on the real time process, and I can explain in a better shape. Okay, so here we are trying to implement some project. Okay, so we got some architectural document, and here the first API we are trying to write it down. Okay, just a moment. Mm, okay, so issue. It's okay. So let me open here. So if you guys have any question in between, so you can stop that particular thing. You can ask me that question. Okay. So we are trying to create this particular API in an API-led architecture, and we are looking at this particular thing. Okay, which means that we are trying to create a system API, a experience API, and we are trying to connect with this particular voice-based system. Okay, this is my intention. Okay, so what we are actually doing it? Are we doing a post method, or are we doing a get method by looking at this particular thing?
Post.
Shows as post method.
So we are trying to create a post method, which means that we are trying to get some organization data from SFDC system, and we are posting it to experience API. From experience API, I'm taking that particular information and I'm trying to hit our system API. From system API, I'm trying to hit it inside our voice VC system. Okay, this is fine. Okay. So SFDC system is going to configure this particular experience URL inside their application. Okay, so we need to give it to them. That's okay. But what we need is, I need to have a URL and I need to have some field structures. Hey, my external system is expecting these fields. Okay, so who is going to give that particular information? So we are ready to write down some RAML. That's okay. But at least this is my prerequisite to write down some RAML and examples, something I need to add it right over there. So I need to have some information. So that information, who is going to give it, and which document represent that information?
The client will give the document actually. So that mappings and all. So what they required actually.
Client, client in the sense like the business
Means
user.
yes, yeah, business users. Business user in the perspective business users only. So who are using means who are the means in my point of view who are not using the customers, who are the main organizers, suppose then related to that project manager who are required that project. So he want that customers they want to use means the project manager and that team members, they will team members means who are the consumers. So we need like that they will give some requirements.
Okay, I'll explain in a better way. Okay.
Okay.
Any other answers?
Okay. And
If you guys are not talking, go on mute, please. Who
actually
is
I
actually
need
giving that particular information?
Mule architect.
Mule Architects. Okay, so for developer, you will get it from Mule Architect. Okay, so how they are going to give it that? Which document represent that information?
Spreadsheet.
Spreadsheet, like Excel. Don't give it like that. So what is the name? The keyword of that?
technical
Architect
document.
document.
Technical
Architecture
document.
document.
Data mapping sheet.
So
Architecture document.
who was that? Data mapping sheet.
Confluence projects.
Okay, Confluence places. Okay, so basically what we call them is data mapping sheet, guys. Okay, So they are trying to give that particular information using the data mapping sheets. Okay, which means that I'm trying to get some information. So this particular field, I'm getting it. I need to post it to this particular field. They are trying to give that information using data mapping sheet. So go on mute, please. So let us try to open one of the data mapping sheet and we will try to understand, hey, how this particular thing is there and who is going to give it and how they are going to construct this particular data mapping sheet. Okay, so let me open data mapping sheet for this particular API. Okay. So this is my organization information that I need to pass. Okay, so this is we are holding it here. Okay, so here we are trying to pass some organization data from SFDC system to this particular OSVC system. So this is my source system. Okay, SFDC is my source system. You can look at here. Okay, or is it very low resolution? Let me change it. Okay. So if you look at this particular system on the data mapping sheet, so here is my source system, which is SFDC, and we are trying to pass it back to the OSVC system. Okay. So here we are trying to get some information, something like this, which means that my experience API is expecting this kind of structure. Okay, so these fields it is expecting. Okay, and I'm trying to post it to this particular OSVC system, which means that SFDC side, if SFDC wants to interact with my experience API, I need these fields. Okay, so I need this kind of data types. I need this particular length. Okay, and I'm trying to push this particular data back to OSVC system. So I need to construct something like this. Okay, so they are sending it as organization name. No, my SFTC system is expecting, or sorry, my OSBC system is expecting the field should be name. So I need to make sure that this particular transformation needs to be done. Okay, so this way I need to convert it, even though if I'm getting like this. So I need to make sure that I need to construct this structure whenever I'm posting it to OSBC system. Okay, so who is going to define this thing? So whenever there is a discussion about, hey, we need to have some integration, which means that I have SFDC system where organization data is there, and I need to pass that particular organization data to OSVC system. So this is the functional requirement they came up with the business. Okay, so the business people saying that, hey, we need organization data inside OSVC system. We will do some, some other stuff. Okay, some other campaigns we will try to run, or that organization data we need it for some other scenario or some other use case. Okay, the moment they are telling this thing, so the MuleSoft architect and the solution architects from different teams, which means that the SFDC team, there is an architect. Okay, OSVC team, there is an architect, the solution architects. And from MuleSoft team also, there is an architect. All these people sit with business and they are trying to understand, hey, we need this particular, we are trying to build this particular API. So what fields you are interested in? Okay, what fields is required to fulfill your, other app or your requirement? So they will try to list down. The business people will tell, hey, I need organization name. I need this particular thing. So they will try to tell this particular story. Okay, so from these two systems, they will try to understand, okay, so do we have this particular information? The SFDC team will try to, their architect is trying to pull out that information. And OSVC team, so they will try to come up with their fields. So this particular person who is there from MuleSoft, our MuleSoft architect, so he will list down, okay, so these are the fields that you are passing in. These are the fields that business needs it. Okay, and he will try to create this particular structure, and he is going to ask these questions, hey, what is the fields? Okay, so what is the maximum length that you are passing in? And from OSPC perspective, so this is the target system, right? So he is going to ask, hey, what kind of fields that are required? Otherwise, my API is going to fail. So you are forcing some validations, right? What kind of validations that you are forcing? Okay, how this particular structure will be. So just take a moment here. So here the SFDC system will have a field called status, and it is mentioned something like 1 or 0. So one is status is equal to like active, or 0 is equal to non-active, something like that. But the same field the OSPC system is expecting as a string, which means that I need to do some mapping. Okay, so this particular system is expecting either active or inactive. Okay, so which means that I need to convert this particular transformation. So if I'm getting a 1, the number 1, so I need to convert into active. Okay, if I'm getting a 0, I need to convert into inactive, and I need to push it back to this particular OSP system. Then only it will accept. If I'm passing 1, so it will not accept. Okay, so this kind of conversion I need to do it. Okay, so what are the required fields? I need to mention in my experience API, hey, these are the required fields. If you are not passing this particular information, I'll not post it to OSPC. If I'm posting without this information, it is going to reject that particular record. So this kind of discussion we will have it with those two other system architects and with the business people, and we will come up with this particular data mapping. Okay, so this is your architect, your solution, or your MuleSoft architect responsibility to align with these two systems and come up with this particular data mapping. Okay, so whenever you are into projects, try to ask them, hey, what is the architectural document that for this particular API? So what is the design document or low level design document? Okay, or sequence diagram. You can ask any other thing. Okay, and you need to ask, hey, what is the data mapping sheet? We are trying to pass some information. We are trying to get some information. What are the fields that you require? This information you need to ask. Okay, so you will get data mapping sheet, architectural document. Okay, so you understand, okay, so I need to create this particular system API, this experience API, and I need to get these fields from, I need to post these fields to OSPC. This is fine. But where to post it? What is the other information I need? I just need to interact with this particular OSPC system, right? So I need to have some way of communicating this particular OSPC system. Is it a database? Is it a external service it is exposing? Or which way I need to communicate this particular system? I need to understand that. Okay, that is nothing but your external system communication. You are just trying to write down your system API. In that system API, you need to connect to some other system, right? If you are using SFDC, you need to have where exactly it is running. What is the host? What is the port? Okay, which object you are modifying? Okay, so these information you need to get it, right? So that information, who is going to give it? Who need to? I mean, so we need to ask them, right? So who is the contact person for that?
Yeah,
Come on, guys.
architect will give this thing actually, because when he created the high level document and low level document, then he have aware of it. What is the things we have to map? Then he will
Mhm.
suggest us.
Yeah. Okay. So architect is going to define it
So this
inside this
question
particular thing.
I'm asking actually. So HD high level document he created based on that, but I heard with someone actually low level document we have to create based on the HD. They said like that. So every organization is like that, or
No, definitely no.
they'll create LD, right?
Yeah. So if
So
your architect
so
is
but
too lazy, then
yesterday also I got confused. If you show the first slide, right?
uh,
I got fully confused. I cannot understand one word also when I saw that diagram. Yes,
mhm,
this one.
this one. Okay.
Yeah, this one and
See,
this
this
one
is
also.
like,
Yeah.
high level architectural document whenever we
Yeah.
are discussing with the business people and the other architects. Okay.
Okay.
This is overall insight of the project. So what are the systems that we have? Okay.
Okay.
What are the source systems? What are the target systems? What kind of communication that we are doing? So all these things we will try to define. So
So
without
if it is give this one means I cannot means I cannot understand this thing as of
yeah,
now.
obviously, I
As
mean,
of now.
see,
Yeah.
if you are looking at this thing as a developer perspective, you guys will not understand. Okay. But what you need is the low level, sequence diagram or low level design document.
Okay.
So this will tell you a story about one single API. You're as a developer, you need to understand as a isolated pieces. You should not take it at a higher level and you will try to see this thing. Definitely, you will not get any sense. Okay, which APIs are there or something like that. But this kind of thing is telling about one particular API story. So this is what you need to understand. From this, you need to get that particular API to be implemented. Okay, this is your architect responsibility. If he is also a fake candidate, yeah, God only save you. But at least this is how we are going to create. Okay, so this kind of diagram you will get it, and they are going to provide that particular data mapping sheet. You need to ask them, hey, if they are not providing it, how come you guys are developing that? You need to understand, right? So what kind of requests the external system is expecting? Okay, what kind of data we need to get it from the source system? So those information you need to get it, and you must need to ask them, hey, give me the architectural document, low level architectural document, your data mapping sheet. Okay, see, if you are confident that the process, okay, you can actually ask them. So if you guys are not know about these things, okay, so if you are directly going to the projects, it might not help you, because you need to have these kind of discussions with your team lead. You need to have discussion with your architect. Okay, so it is not a a simplest thing. Hey, I was a mule developer, I will develop anything. No, you need to develop by considering your client needs. Okay, so what is the client need? So you need to understand that. So that one we will try to have it inside your architectural documents and your data mapping sheets. Okay, now so here we are trying to convey, hey, where this particular external system is resided, how to communicate it. Okay, so here we are saying that the HTTP communication, which means that I need to communicate, okay, my external system using a HTTP call, which means that my external system is expecting a RESTful API call. So which means that which component we are going to use it inside this particular system API. Okay, I want to call a RESTful API. So what component we will try to call, or we will try to use it. At least these kind of things you
FTP.
guys can. A RESTful API.
Okay. Okay. You can use request.
HTTP request.
Listener,
Okay.
HTTP listener.
Not listener request.
Not listener, guys. See, listener will be used to expose your service as a RESTful APIs.
Yeah.
Okay, you will try to use a HTTP requester to consume external services. Okay, HTTP listener, which means that you're exposing your service as a RESTful APIs. That is nothing but listen. Okay, we will try to see that difference. But at least what we need to use, we need to use a HTTP requester. Okay, let us try to see the Postman. Okay, and we will try to hit that particular external URL. Okay, just a moment. Okay, so we are.
Please repeat once.
Sorry.
ఒకసారి రిపీట్ చేయరా?
Okay, so okay, let me put it this way. Okay, so మనకి ఈ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ సిస్టమ్ ని మనం ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవుదాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఓకే, ఈ ఎక్స్టర్నల్ సిస్టమ్ ని మనం ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవుదాం అనుకున్నప్పుడు అది ఏ ప్రోటోకాల్లో లేకపోతే ఎలా ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవుతున్నాము అన్నది మనకి తెలియాలి. అంటే ఇప్పుడు ఇన్ కేస్ ఈ ఓఎస్బి సిస్టమ్ అన్నది వన్ ఆఫ్ ది డేటాబేస్ అనుకోండి. సో విచ్ కనెక్టర్ యూ విల్ ట్రై టు యూజ్? యూ విల్ ట్రై టు యూజ్ ఏ డేటాబేస్ కనెక్టర్. Okay, so if this particular system is expecting a file, okay, so which connector we will try to use? We will use FTP connector. If it is a Amazon S3 bucket, Amazon related connector. Okay, But what we are looking at, this is a HTTP, which means that my external system is expecting a RESTful API, or they are exposing a RESTful API, which means that I need to use a HTTP requester to call this particular thing. ఎందుకంటే HTTP requester ఎందుకు? Because any RESTful API that we want to interact, we will try to use a HTTP requester. Okay, so we will try to call that particular RESTful APIs using HTTP request routing. That is the connector that we have inside our mule to interact, okay, to RESTful APIs. Okay, so that connector we need to use inside this particular system API. Okay, but we will try to see whether this particular external system URL is working or not. Okay, so let me open that. Let us try to create one more collection. Let me rename it. Let it be so, or else I'll try to use the older one.
Is it
We are
active,
looking.
that link?
Yeah, so just a moment, let us try to see. Okay, so this is a organization related voice visit system. Okay, so we are trying to hit a version 1.4. Let us try to see organization data. Okay, so this is something dev. Okay, unsupported media type. Okay, fine. So just a moment. Okay. Trying to copy this and I'm trying to have it here. It is expecting application JSON, so let us try to pass it as application JSON. Okay, so we are getting some response back from the external system. This is the external system URL that we are trying to hit it with some request payload. Okay, which means that this particular information we are getting from SFDC system and we are passing it to OSVC system. Okay, so to pass it to OSVC system, we need to construct this particular, kind of structure, and we need to pass it to OSVC system. Okay, this is the external URL that we need to configure inside our application. Okay, so we are trying to construct that. So based upon what we are constructing it, so we are looking at data mapping sheet and we are going to construct these particular fields. Okay, but to be precise, we are going to get a different field. Okay, so we are getting something like organization name from the SFDC system. They are saying that, hey, I will only set the organization under this particular field, but this guy is expecting a different key. Okay, so we need to convert that particular transformation. Okay, so in which layer we are going to convert it? Okay, how to convert it, how to write these transformations, all these things we will try to see it one by one. Okay, but our intention here is to create our RAML first. Okay, so let us try to construct that particular RAML. So we are going to construct RAML for your system APIs first, always. Why we need to go with that approach? Because your reusability concept is. Okay, so you need to look at this particular API is already there, or okay, once it is already there, you need to look at it. Hey, organization related resources there, or so you need to look at it. Okay, so if it is not there, you need to construct your OSVC system first, which means that your system API first, and then you will come up with experience. sometimes what will happen is two guys will alternatively or parallelly they will work. Okay, so first system API guy will try to create a RAML in a 2 hours or 3 hours of time span, and they will give that particular RAML or this particular experience API guy will try to look at exchange. Okay, and he will understand, hey, what is my system API is expecting. So he is going to construct based upon that particular exchange information in your experience API. So we'll try to see it, but the first thing that we need to look at is constructing my RAML for system API. Okay, let us try to see that. So where we are going to create that.
Any
Notepad
point?
or
Independent
okay.
platform, and actually that SFDC is the experience API, right?
Sorry, experience API.
SFDC system, right?
SFDC system.
In the diagram you have shown the two, right? So this one, yeah, this is experience API. So SFDC is the experience API.
Experience API. So we are creating OSPC system API first, always.
Okay.
Okay, so that is your fundamental tool. Go with always system API. So that this is what we call it as backward, which means that
So
you're
experience and
constructing system APIs and you're interacting with your external system. If
So
it is
here
working,
integration is happening with 1-to-1, right? Maybe not more than one.
yeah, so it is 1-to-1. So SFDC
Yeah.
system and OSPC system is interacting. There is no
Okay.
orchestration. That's
Yeah,
why we
okay.
don't have a process API. Okay.
Okay.
If we do have a orchestration, then we will have a process API layer.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
this is 1-to-1 integration, like.
Yeah, 1-to-1 integration.
Okay. So
Okay.
yesterday we discussed actually more than two systems may be required, like that, right?
No, so more than, see, either two or more than two.
More than two. Now it is happening with two, right? One and one. Okay. Okay.
See, a bare minimum two systems will be there. Okay.
Ah,
One
yeah,
is
because one
SFDC.
integration means it is going to, we are sending some data, it is receiving means 1-to-1, that is. So 1-to-many means so one data, two persons means two systems.
Okay, so let us say this particular organization data SFDC system is giving. Okay.
Yeah,
You want to put this particular same organization data to different systems. Okay. Two different systems. Let's say OSPC it is expecting or SAP it is expecting. So what you will try to do, you will try to create a process layer. There you will try to use one component. So if I want to pass parallelly to two different systems, which component we are going to use it?
Okay. So
Scatter gather.
Scatter together. Exactly.
Yes.
Okay. So we will try to put a scatter gather component inside process API, and we will try to call two different system APIs. That is your API letter. Okay. One is this particular system API dedicated for OSVC system. The other one is dedicated to SAP system.
Okay.
Okay. So this is how we are going to construct it, guys. Okay. So
yes,
make sure that, yeah.
one more question. Actually, this question for me, I asked in Deloitte interview actually when when Kishore first batch is over. At the time, I gave only one interview with Deloitte. So they asked, "What is Mule? Explain about Mule SP, how it works."
Mule ESP.
Yeah, what is this architecture? Mule SB architecture. Explain
Yeah.
it.
So.
So we need to explain about LED connectivity and all.
Yeah, API-led connectivity. Because without API-led connectivity, none of the projects will be implemented until and unless that particular architect is not aware of this particular thing. Okay.
Okay. Yes,
So
that question.
make sure that you make your mind, guys. Okay. Without API-led connectivity, without system APIs, without process APIs, without experience APIs, none of the projects will be implemented. Will not combine every connector into one particular project and we are going to deploy it. No, not at all. Okay. If we are doing that way, you will have a hard luck. Okay. Which means that your architect is not aware of this thing and he might, gone through some proxy or something. Okay. So make sure that without API-led connectivity, none of your Mule projects will be implemented. And you need to understand what is the experience layers, what is the system layers. Okay. Which layer we are trying to do it, what. Scenario to scenario, it will change. Okay, but you need to understand what is the process that we are going to follow. Okay, so we need to have Jiras, we need to have repositories. Okay, so all these things you need to understand piece by piece. Okay, now, so we are trying to implement this particular system API, Raman. So I'm going to use this particular AnyPoint platform. Okay, and let us try to go to Start Design Center. So we created some system API yesterday. So this one, okay, September 21st. Let me click on this button. Okay, make sure that you will not have -v1 or -v2 or something like that. Why we need to do that is we'll try to see whenever we are publishing it. Okay, so here I need to write down some description saying that this is a system API, okay, which will interact with OSVC system using HTTP protocol. Okay, so this is some lightweight description. Okay, why we need to write down all these things? Because it is useful for your next person. So you are leaving this particular company, so the other person is going to join. So if he doesn't know this particular kind of stuff, he never know, okay, what is going on. Okay, so we just need to mention the descriptions, we need to mention the exchange descriptions, we need to have the technical design documents, we need to have API specification documents. All those things we will try to maintain it inside your projects. Okay, we need to understand, hey, what are these things? Okay, so we'll try to see piece by piece, but if you guys have any question, stop that particular thing, so turn on your mic and ask your question. Okay, so it is not like
Like,
uh, yeah, go on. Sorry.
yeah, like regarding SFDC connect, I have one question.
Mhm.
Yeah, so what will be the input and output of this Salesforce? And like, can we pass multiple socktails for getting data?
You can pass it. Okay, see, basically it will give you a collection of data elements. Okay, that will be a Java object, so you need to convert into your JSON object. Okay, even while pushing it, so what will happen is your SFTC connector will have internal transportation, which means that it will try to convert to what SFDC is going to understand it. So that particular SFDC connector is responsible for that. So while you are getting the data, so you will get a collection of records and you will try to convert into a application JSON and you will transport it. So that particular transformation, you will try to do it inside your system API. Okay, converting your Java object to application JSON, this particular transformation, we will do it inside your system APIs. System APIs will always expose the data using application JSON, guys. Make sure that you fix that particular thing inside your. So almost every case, any internal communication, we will use application JSON only. Why we need to use it? Because the application JSON is a lightweight protocol or lightweight format, and we are going to use a HTTP communication or HTTPS communication. Your network bandwidth, all these things we need to consider. Your application JSON will be used between your system APIs, process APIs. All this communication will be happen only using application JSON. Okay, so it is more advantageous whether going with the application XML or other format. Okay, so it will have a lower network latency, lower jitter. What is these things is your architect issue, but at least you need to understand that anything that we are trying to convert your Java objects to your application JSON or anything, that we will do it inside your system layers. Okay, your
So
SFDC
like,
system is, yeah, go on.
yeah, so like while passing an object like single record to the Salesforce, we can pass it through the object, right?
Yeah,
So,
a
but
collection
while
of objects.
passing, yeah, but while passing to the SFDC connector, we need to make sure that we will pass in an array, even a single object,
Exactly. Yeah.
right?
So
Yeah.
that is how
So,
your
yeah,
SFDC
okay.
is there.
Yeah. So SFDC understand the array. So
Mm,
like the output of the SFDC will be collection of objects, right?
mm.
Even though we
Yeah,
pass multiple records or a single record, we will get only objects, not array output.
no objects because they are strictly utilizing one particular standard. we are saying that application JSON we will try to convert, or always system APIs will have application JSON, right? So this is our mule standard. So Salesforce standard is they will always expect a collection of data or array of data, whether you will pass it one record or 10 records. Their communication channel they will not change it. Okay, so they are strict to one particular way. So even though
Yeah,
they
got
they
it.
do have their premises, like 4 different entries, they closed all the entries and they are expecting only one particular form. Okay, so even they are trying to strictly give the same format back to you, a collection of records, whether it is one record or 10 records, they don't bother about it. So they will always give it in a collection of record perspective. Okay, so that is
Uh,
baseline that they are following.
I had a requirement like a passing. I will get from process API. Like I will be getting a SOQL query. Like I will not be doing query in inside the system API. So I will be getting from process API directly the query to fetch the data
Karan,
from
just a
Salesforce.
moment. Sorry. We'll try to take this thing after this particular discussion. Okay, so it is very specific to your
Yeah.
project
Okay.
requirement. So we'll try to take it later point of time. I mean, so I will give the time
Okay.
and I will explain. Okay. So coming to this
Thank you.
particular thing, so we are trying to add some metadata, guys. Okay, so this particular version number, title, descriptions, everything we are trying to add it as a metadata, and we are trying to add some more other additional information. Okay, so the moment I'm putting a cursor here, it is giving me, hey, you need to define some resource types. No, as of now, I don't want it. Threads types, no, not at all. Base URI is not required at least. Okay, so inside our applications, we will try to define this particular base URI back to listener. Okay, we'll try to say media type. Yeah, I need this particular thing, media type. So how you are expecting your information, how you are pushing your information back. I'm using application JSON, not anymore anything. So always I will try to use this particular media type. Okay, fine. Media type is defined. What else? Protocols. Which protocol you want to use this thing? Whenever I'm writing a RAML, it is nothing but a RESTful API. RESTful API will know this particular thing, HTTP or HTTPS protocol. Formats are different, protocols are different. I want to use HTTP as of now. Okay, fine. What else? Base URI parameter documentation, this one. Okay, so we'll try to see this, but we need to add this particular documentation.mp. So we'll try to see this particular thing later point of time. Whenever we complete one of the API, we will try to add the documentation, what we need to attach or what we need to document out there. So we need to write it down. Okay, but as of now, we are not ready. Now, coming to this particular design, what is my resource? What is my resource name? I need to configure. Look at this particular doc.
Organizations.
So organizations, this particular part I'm talking about. So we need to expose an organization resource and it needs to expect this particular post method. Yeah, this one I need to configure. Okay, so let us open this particular this thing. So let me open this and I need to create this particular organization. Okay, so just a moment. Yeah. So here I need to write my resource. Okay, tell me how to write it. This one.
Yes. Dot semicolon. Yes.
Okay. So if you ask me why organizations, why not organization? We are passing only one record at a time, right? But your
I think
resources,
already that keyword is registered, maybe organization. So
no, not like that. Even we can have it organization. Okay. The issue here is your plural resources we will try to use inside your process, most of the processes. Okay. So we are talking about a collection of elements. Okay, we are talking about one specific resource, whether it might be so your SFTC standards, your Salesforce standards. Okay, we are talking about plural resources. That's why they are trying to specify organizations, accounts, okay, employees, users, okay, sales leads, billings, something like that. They will try to define. So that as the collection of records we are going to use. Okay, so organizations we are trying to specify it. Okay, this is the resource that we are going to specify. So what method we are going to create?
Post method.
It is a post method. Okay, so post method, what we need to define? Post method. So it needs to expect a request body, right? That particular request body we need to specify it. Before that, we need to add some description. Why we are using this? Hey, this is a post method. Hey, we already know, sir, this is a post method. Yeah, but there needs to be some standard. We need to tell that, hey, some person who is not able to understand this particular mule, so he is also needs to understand this thing. Okay, this is a post method to create new organization data to which system? OSVC system. Okay, so we are using this particular method to create an organization information back to my OSVC system. This is what we need to specify. Now here, what we need to specify? We need to specify some body. Why we need to specify some body? Because post method is expecting some information, some request. Okay, some this kind of application JSON it is expecting. So we need to define that particular thing. Okay, so I believe you guys don't have any confusion on this particular thing, at least RAML perspective. All right.
Grammar wise fine, but while you are explaining about system API and experience API, I'm little get confusion about
Yeah,
it.
so it depends. I mean, so once we develop it, so you will get it.
Okay, okay.
So let me add application JSON. Okay, so we are adding an application JSON format, which means that this particular RAML or this particular resource is expecting an application JSON format. Okay, so we need to specify what kind of example or what kind of structure we are getting it. So which one we need to specify? We need to specify an example. Okay, so how we are expecting inside your system API. Okay, so let us try to copy this particular thing. Okay, why? Because we are not doing any transformation logic inside your system APIs. All this particular transformation, okay, organization type, name to name, or these kind of structure we will try to create inside your experience layers. Okay, so this is the system layer we need to create it, and it is expecting something like this. Okay, so let me copy it. Can we paste it something like this? Can we? Is it fine? So this is fine.
No.
Okay, but to be precise, we will not create something like this. Okay, why we need to do it? So we need to actionalize these particular examples back to some of the folders. Why? Because if I'm looking at this particular API, so at least if it is only one API, one method, this is fine. But in your real time, there will be something like 20 to 25 different resources in every system API. Okay, so if you are trying to create something like this, it is very clumsy and you will not have any readability. So what we need to do, we need to create some folder and we need to externalize this particular example. Okay, so let us try to create some file. Okay, not file, actually we need to create a folder. Okay, so here examples. Okay, so inside examples, I need to create one more folder, a request. Okay, and responses. Is it required? Is this particular structures are required? Yes, definitely required. Okay, so if it is, you're not working as your MuleSoft, the basic stuff, guys. Okay, you're creating a real-time APIs. You need to have proper standards. If you are trying to explain this way, you are good to go for your project explanations. or even if you're going in a organization, you're working on some real-time APIs, you need to create something like this. Everything needs to be in a proper standard way. Okay, are not just adding here and there. No, we should not do that. Okay, because whatever you're developing it, 4 to 5 members are going to review that. Okay, your team lead is going to review it, your platform team is going to review it, your architect is going to review it before deploying into production. Okay, so if you are not following these standards, they will stop that particular deployment and they will try to ask you to rework on this in a proper standards. Okay, make sure that you follow that. So I need to specify this particular request back to here by using a new file. Okay, so I'm creating a new file. So this is other I need to specify, and what kind of file it is? It is organization post request. Okay, so this one we will try to specify here. Okay, so someone will specify something like this, or middle of it, or here also they will try to specify. So this particular naming conventions will be different from project to project. Okay, but at least one thing we need to understand it. So you will align with your existing project. Okay, so post organizations request. Okay, I'm creating this particular JSON. Here I need to have this particular alignment is also important. So make sure that you follow that. Okay, so inside this we are specifying this particular example. So this is my request example. Okay, this is my system API is expecting. Okay, this is my sample request. So I need to include that particular thing here. By which keyword? Using my include keyword. Okay, include where exactly it is. Examples, requests, post organization request. Okay, so this is how we need to include. So you're limiting this particular raml to very precise. Okay, so let us try to add few more. Okay, body is fine. What else we are expecting? We need to give the responses, right? So I need to specify response also. What kind of response we are going to give it? What kind of status code we need to give it?
200 for a
201.
post method 201. Post for 201. Yes.
Post method 201. If it is a get method 200.
200.
Okay, 201 is nothing but creation. Okay, so here also I need to specify the response is something like body. Here you don't require to define a description. Okay, so that is fine. Application JSON. So what kind of response I'm expecting? So I need to specify example. Okay, again I need to create some more example file, but this time I need to create inside my responses. So here I'm creating new file. Okay, and here I'm selecting post response. This is my post organization. Okay, response. Okay, why we are adding post method or something? Because in the same example we will get one more method, nothing but get method, patch method, something like that. So for every request and response, which method, which resource? Okay, so you need to specify it. Okay, so this is post organization's response. What kind of response we are expecting from system API? Where to define it? Okay, so this is the response that we are expecting from OS business system. Okay, so this one I need to specify it. Organization name, SFDCID, message code. Okay, this is the response. I need to specify it inside this particular responses. Okay, so let us try to see it. Okay, so we are getting something like this. Okay, the external system is giving this particular response. The same response we are trying to specify it inside my responses also. Okay, so this is what we are getting it. Okay, now this response we configured it, and even that one we need to include it here. Okay, include examples, responses, post organization response. This is fine. Okay, so I created a specific raml for one particular this thing, but This way, are we going to create it inside your, real-time APIs? No. Okay. So we will not, have all the things inside my main YAML file. We are going to use resource type to define this particular thing. Okay. So let us try to create a resource type where we are going to create it. Okay. So inside examples, are we going to create it? No. So there is one more folder we are going to add it. That is nothing but your libraries. Okay. So inside libraries, I'm going to create a new resource type. Okay. So here I need to create one more folder. Okay. Resource types. Okay. Someone will call it as patterns. Okay. But at least most of the projects will follow this particular thing. Resource types. Okay. So here I need to create one resource type. Okay. I'm clicking on new file. Okay, so this is RAML and this is a resource type. And what kind of resource type? Organizations. Why not post organizations? Why I'm not putting post organizations? ఎందుకు పెడతలేదండి post to get అని ఎందుకు పెడతలేదు? Why I'm saying organizations only?
ఓకే, మీరు రిసోర్స్ పాత్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్ మెన్షన్ చేశారు కాబట్టి అదొకటే ఇచ్చారు.
No. Because even in this particular organization resource type, I can have get method. I can have patch method. So tomorrow we are developing a post method right now. Okay. If tomorrow, if we want to add a get method to this particular organization, I will try to add it in the same file, same resource type. So that's why I'm not saying post or get. Okay. I'm saying organizations. Okay. This is what you need to understand. So in a real-time projects, you will get multiple methods for a same, resource. Okay.
Excuse me.
Mhm.
I do have question here. What exactly libraries do in the RAM here actually?
So libraries, which means that anything we are going to reuse it is what we call it as libraries. Okay. We'll have tribes, we'll have resource types. All these things are
Yes.
reusable components and we are going to specify inside libraries. That is the folder structure that we are going to use.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. We didn't get a chance to cover the libraries in our class, so that's why we exactly don't know about the libraries. That's why
So
I
to
asked.
be precise, guys, see, if we are taking all these things inside your mules of the fundamentals, it will take us like 80 hours of classes. Okay, so we don't have that particular bandwidth, and we can't explain each and everything. So this, even if you are going to any other instructor, that is the thing. Okay. See, that's why I'm saying, so your mule fundamentals are different and your organization level development is completely different. Okay. You will have the fundamentals to crack your, jobs. Okay. But this is how we are going to develop it. But I'm pretty much sure that if you are developing 2 to 3 APIs with the proper standards, you will get that particular essence. And it is 80% of your, any project will match to whatever we are trying to convey here. 80%. Most of the projects will have 90-95%. So here we are saying libraries. Okay. Maybe some fellows will call it as reusable components or some folder name will change. But end of the day, how you are developing is one and the same. Okay. That standards will deviate, but this is how we are going to deal with it.
So enhancement will be available, right, for this one?
Yeah, enhancement. So they will they will try to ask you to implement a get method. So what you will try to do, you will try to
Okay.
add a get method here.
Okay.
Okay. So something
So
like that
some
you will.
developer already is developed, so some other guy is joined, so they need some enhancement. So they
They
need
will try
some.
to reuse this particular resource type and they will try to add a
Okay.
one more method under organization.
Okay.
Okay. So you are trying to create through SFDC, you are creating organizations to OSVC system. Okay. Maybe mobile system needs this particular organization information from OSVC. What they will try to do, they will try to create a experience layer for mobility system, and they will try to call this particular system API to get that data. To get that data, they will try to implement a get method here.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is the structure that we are going to follow. So we will try to see all the scenarios, but at least we'll try to learn piece by piece, guys. Okay, so we'll not put everything into one particular class. That's how it will not work. Okay, so we'll try to
Here,
see. Yeah, go on.
Here can we use post method to like post, get, and all 5 methods?
So in resource type, we will try to expose all the methods. One resource type, all the methods for that particular resource. Okay. All right. So we try to add the resource something like this, but we are getting some issue saying that, hey, this particular thing is not there. Okay. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to add something like this. Okay. So the moment I'm adding something like dots hyphen, so it is going to this level. Okay. But what I need to go, so somewhere next level I need to go. The moment I'm putting something like this, now it is giving the root level structure, examples, request, organization request. So whatever we have implemented here, it is not working here. So why? Because this particular reference is not able to get it. So it is looking at resource type. Do we have examples folder? No, it doesn't have in this particular structure. It is there in the top level. So I need to go to one level up. So this is the syntax that you need to go to 2 levels up, and you need to refer examples, responses, and this particular.
So this is XPath, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, so XPath we will try to tell it in the XML convention, but so this is the absolute path that you are trying to.
Yeah. So we will go inside from that
Mm.
example where we need to fetch that one. Exactly.
Okay. So instead of relative convention, you are going with the absolute path where you need to look at this particular example. Okay, so this convention we will call it as XPath whenever we are referring XMLs. Okay, so this is how we need to define it. Okay, so I defined resource type pretty much fine. So let us try to save it. Okay, so it is asking, hey, fragment encoding. Okay, fine, that's it. Now here I don't have anything. I need to define that particular thing, which means that I need to get that particular resource type and I need to use it here. Okay. So for that, what we need to do, define. So here I'm going to define resource types. Okay. I need to define this is an organization's resource type. Okay. So this convention, I need to mention it here. I need to specify where exactly this particular thing is include, where exactly it is. Libraries, go to libraries, resource types, organization.raml. So we are defining resource type at global level, which means that the main file, we need to define this particular resource type. And this particular resource type, if we want to use it here, so what we need to do, we need to specify the type. What type we are using? Organization resource type. Okay, so this is completed now. So one particular resource type we defined it. Okay, to be precise, even we haven't completed it. Okay, in real-time projects, what we need to define, we need to define data types also. We need to define rights also. All these things we need to define. We need to pass client ID, client secret. So we need to provide some security. We need to define rights. We need to define data types. All these things we need to enhance in this particular ramel. Okay, any questions? This
But
particular level.
generally, for calling library, for calling libraries, we use like keyword is uses. Like, a bit confusion in that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so users will have a different scenario. We'll try to explain that, but at least at this level, so this is how we are going to do it. Okay, users
Okay.
is
Yeah.
something like you are using a fragment where you will have multiple traits that you have defined in one singular structure. You will try to use users.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
This organization resource type is reserved keyword or our
No, it is global. You can define anything.
Okay.
You
Okay.
can treat it as a
Okay.
variable.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is a local variable, so you can
Okay.
define
Okay.
anything, but
Okay.
the resource type is a keyword.
Okay. Ah,
Okay.
yes, I got it. Okay.
All right. So any other question, guys? Whatever we explained till now, so you can have like any confusion or anything, you can ask me. So I'm just stopping the session now, but you can ask me. Okay, so we need to enrich this particular RAML, few other things. You need to create a data types, you need to create traits, okay? You need to create some fragments also, okay? But all these things we need to understand because this is how we are going to develop inside your projects, okay? So we are, having a minimal information in your main RAML file. Everything we will try to externalize it, okay? Using libraries, examples, something like that. Okay, so any questions? If you guys doesn't have any question, I can go with Charan to explain his scenario. Okay,
Yeah.
but
Thank
one personal suggestion for you guys is whenever you're explaining anything, okay, in your interviews or so mostly don't explain it something like a normal way. Don't give definitions. Don't give a strict definitions. Try to explain the concept. Okay, try to explain your project into API-led connectivity. So you will have what is the external systems, what is the layers that you have. Okay, at least one or two examples or one or two APIs if you are trying to explain it. So they will have some confidence, even though your company is fake and he is going to see that particular thing, he is good to go because you are going to add some value to their project by minimal training, or they are trying to guide you because we see so many folks that they have trying to see some videos and they are coming in and they are trying to mock as they are MuleSoft professionals. If I'm taking in those fellows, I need to guide them like 3 to 4 months. No, I don't have that particular bandwidth. Those 4 months, client will kick us saying that, hey, you do have something like 3 to 4 members. Why can't you develop these many APIs or something like that? So at least the bare minimum, training or KT, we will try to give it. But at least you need to understand, hey, what is this particular API-led connectivity? What is how the projects are implemented? So you need to understand that. So it is not like cracking a job and you are directly going to an organization. It is just like you need to sustain over there. That is the fundamental thing that you need to understand. Okay, so try to learn about API-led connectivities and how RAMLs will be constructed. Okay, so how your standards will be enforced inside your projects. Try to learn it that way. Okay, you guys might come tomorrow or not. Okay, but at least try to fix it inside your mind. Without API-led architecture, there would be no projects at all. Okay. All right, Charan, you can go ahead. You can explain your. Okay, so I'm just stopping the session, guys. Okay, so if anyone wants to leave, you can leave. So I was just explaining his scenario.
So, and one more question: what is
Mhm.
upset? Upset, update, and insert?
Yeah,
Or
so upset is something like let us say you are getting a record. Okay,
okay,
you
okay,
you are not sure that that particular record is there in the external system or not. What you will try to do is you will try to first go there and you will try to do a select statement. Okay, based upon the key. So if that record is there, what you will try to do, you will try to update that particular record. Okay, so if that particular record is not there, you will try to insert it. Okay, some systems will automatically do this particular process by using an upset mechanism like SFDC, some other system like EBS, or some systems will try to do this particular. If it is not doing, it is your responsibility to do that particular thing. Okay,
okay,
but that particular business logic, you will not write it inside your system. You will try to write it inside your processing.
okay,
Okay, you will try to expose three methods. Okay, one is get method, one is your post method, one is your patch method.
okay.
Okay, all right.
Thank
So
you.
I
any other thing?
uh,
Yeah.
I have a request.
Mhm.
Like as we usually would extend it a bit, right? Like for the sessions. So can we just move it to 8:30 a.m. in the morning? If
Mhm.
everyone is fine with that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, so basically, Ashish, when we are actually starting from tomorrow, so there will be a very lesser group. So we will discuss over there. Yeah, I mean, so I'm not stick to very like 1 hour or something, guys. Okay, so if I want to explain something in a fruitful manner, or if I want to give some a strict scenarios, it might take like 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Even some of the times I'll take it like straightforward 3 hours or something like that. So on Saturdays or something. Okay. But we'll try to see it. But if we have this particular discussion with a lesser group, we'll get some agreement. Right, Ashish?
Yeah, Amar, we actually like this part. Like we
Okay.
require this for sure. So that's the reason I was just
Yes,
asking.
from my end
Okay.
also same request if it is possible.
Okay, cool. All right. So yeah.
But
Uh, mhm. Oh, okay.
I
So
have,
Neelu, don't worry about it. I'll not stick to something like 3 hours on a regular basis. Okay. But if we have something on Saturday or something, we will try to connect a bit earlier and we will try to see it. Fine.
yeah, sure.
Okay. Cool. All right. So anything? Okay. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time. So I'll try to explain his scenario. You can go on, Sharon.
Sorry, please share the recordings because
Yeah,
okay,
I'll try
okay,
to share. No
okay.
issue.
Thank you. I'm leaving. Bye. Thank you.
Uh,
Uh, how can we practice this? Like, can we directly, like in the RAML, we can go and practice this one?
I mean,
We'll share
so
you all these data mapping sheets and all. Accordingly, you can construct it. You'll get recording also by using this. You can see and practice.
And
Okay.
so you will get these external systems, guys. You will get these particular URLs. Okay. So once we are trying to explain that, you can actually practice it. It is not like, I am doing this stuff and I'm giving it to you. You just need to stick to only recordings. You can actually build this thing. That is how you will try to understand how these particular things are working, how we need to do this particular thing. So today we are trying to explain like, 3 to 4 different scenarios. Okay. So that particular scenarios will give you some insight whenever you are going to inside your projects, how to implement your independent APIs. Okay, as an individual contributor, you need to implement these APIs whenever you are going to MNCs. Okay, so this will based upon this particular practice or this particular visualization, you can easily implement that because you are just changing that particular URLs. You are just changing that particular data types. That's it. But you need to understand that particular process, how we are actually implementing. Okay, so we are dealing with this thing entire end to end, like Jira's. We are going with repositories. We are going with your other tools, CI/CD pipeline tools. All these things we will try to see. Okay, but piece by piece we will try to learn it. So I'm not going to put it everything on one day or something like that. Okay, so we are trying to understand the raml first. Okay, then we will go with the project development Jira's. Then we will go with the Git repositories. Then we will try to implement inside your Anycon Studio. Then we will try to do units, and then we will try to deploy it using CI/CD pipelines. So this is how we need to construct it. Okay, once you are deal with one particular API, the second API onwards, you will try to guide me. Hey, do this thing, do this, do that, something like that. Okay, that is the way that I'm just expecting. Okay, so it is like how much you are practicing. To practice that, you need to get this all these documents and everything. So we'll try to share it. Okay, don't worry about that. Anything? You can take it, Kishore, for 5 minutes. And then later point of time, I will talk with Charan.
Yeah. Any other questions, guys? See, up to today, pre-classes got over. See, people still who want to continue, you can reach out to me. Okay, I already created a separate group. Okay, so tomorrow onwards, so this link it won't work. We'll change the new link. Okay, okay, Amar, we'll wind up.
Fine, Charan. You can ask your question.
Yeah. Yeah. So చిన్న doubt query pair option. Yeah. So like I had like I